Sheldon Primus.
Welcome to the Safety Consultant Show with Sheldon Primus, where we blend safety smarts with business brilliance and a pinch of Sheldon's signature wit. Whether you're a safety pro, a fresh-faced consultant, or just safety curious, get ready for a show that'll educate, entertain, and elevate your safety game. Let's dive into the art of consulting with your safety Sherpa himself, Sheldon Primus.
This episode is powered by Safety FM.
Well, hello, my friends. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm glad that you guys are out there doing okay, because you just responded, right? You told me you're doing well. I heard that. You're all right. So welcome to another edition of the Safety Consultant Show with Sheldon Primus. As of the recording today, it's August 1st, 2025. I should be doing a weekly show, but actually, lately it's been bi-weekly. I've been doing a lot of traveling, which is good. That's part of my gig, right? You guys know, well, those of you that are new, you do not know. But those of you that's been around here for a while, you know that I'm actually a full-time RVer and full-time traveler. So my wife and I, our kids are grown. We love our kids like everybody else. And our kids are grown, and we basically in 2017, I believe, 2017, we sold our house, and we've been traveling full time, on and off. During the pandemic years, we were off the road a little, and then came back. But we all did stuff during the pandemic years where we're like, all right, we gotta hunker down. Things are gonna change. We gotta do something. So that was just like us. So for what that means right now is when I do my big traveling weeks or whatever, it becomes harder to get my studio equipment and all that set up and get those podcasts out for you like I normally do. But I hope when I give you guys new episodes like this one today, that is eventful. It's something you need. It's something that you guys have been looking for. Not something that stinks. We don't want anything that stinks. We want stuff that sounds good, stuff that's going to make you guys say, ooh, yeah. See, I can't go make you say, because I'll get sued for that one. Of course, I don't want you to make you say, what the I don't want you to say that either. I got a new board. I'm playing around with it. Thank you, wifey. My wife got me a new board for my birthday. So I've been figuring it out. So if you hear me all of a sudden sound like this,
I don't know what I did, but it wasn't me.
That's my new board. All right. Let me stop playing around and let's just, again, welcome everybody who's been on the show for the first time. I'm Sheldon Primus. And on this show, what I do is I help you just the business of being a safety consultant. I am US based, so I do have a lot of OSHA things, and I know some global safety professionals use OSHA as a guidance, if you would, kind of like just to get started, just a equal playing field. It's not quintessential. OSHA's like, graduating high school with a D. You'll be okay, but you're not going to Harvard. That's my feeling. So I've done plenty of OSHA topics throughout my 5 years of podcasting. So if you have not checked out some of my other episodes, please do. This episode today, I'm going to really work on OSHA just updated my favorite document, which is called the Field Operation Manual, a couple weeks ago. And I just wanted to soak in a little and get a feel of what other people were saying in different media. And it looks like one of the big changes in the Field Operation Manual is Chapter 6, which deals about fines and reduction of fines and everything. It's a chapter that I use all the time because I'm a consultant, so I'm trying to get my clients less money. So I'm there quite a bit. So my feeling right now on the Chapter 6 reduction of penalties, and hold on, before I give you my feelings, let me set this up. What am I doing here? I'm not setting up a show like I need to. Okay, so let's set it up like this. It goes a little something like this. Hit it. No, you guys don't need that song either, and I don't need to be sued. But just look up Sugar Hill. Anyway, so OSHA did an update on this giant, what's called a field operation manual. So this is the book that the compliance officers will use in order for them to understand not only the rules and the regulations regarding enforcement and compliance assistance, that's in there as well. But it's also the mechanism that you can use to understand if I get fined, how much the fines will be, things like that. So Chapter 6 is the one which is pretty much for penalties and for you to understand all that, and it even shows you how to get penalty reduction. So the update of this field operation manual leads us to a significant change, and there's a few things that have changed, and it's consistent with what I've told you guys from when I told you that there's a new administration in previous episodes. I summarize it by when a Republican is in office, OSHA goes to compliance assistance mode. Of course, there's some regulations and a few other things that happen. However, when there's a Democrat in office, typically you're going to see that there will be compliance enforcement actions more than compliance assistance. In some cases, it's almost in the same level. But compliance enforcement, Democratic administration; compliance assistance, Republican administration. I've talked about that before in a few episodes, including with Jordan Barab, who was the Deputy Assistant Director of OSHA, which was under Dr. Michaels. I talked to Jill James with Vivid Safety and HSI. So that she's ex-OSHA herself. So there's a bunch. I did a whole series beginning of the year where I talked about the change of administration, starting with episode 297, 298, 299. So what to expect. So there's plenty of things. I'm not going to rehash that stuff. And I actually just did a OSHA update, a summer update. And then they pull this, right? Then they do the big old update to the field operation manual. So just telling you all that so you can guys go back to some of my previous episodes and get a good idea of the differences between administrations. So let's go back to the field operation manual. There's changes in the way that OSHA reduces fines now for people. So you could get a size reduction on fines. So the size reduction now accounts for the entire company, not just establishment base. So potentially reducing or denying some discounts, if you would, because of the size exemption. So the larger the company, the more likely they're not going to get a size reduction. So that's changed a little. The serious willful violations has been reduced 10% to, has been actually, the reductions themselves have been from 10% to 20% possible. So this is applied without inspection history within the 5 years, meaning you truly, as an organization, OSHA has not been an issue for you guys, but now you've got a serious willful violation, one of the two, then at that point, you can get a reduction for that. And then the quick fix ones. So that's another one that, truly you can get some reductions. They also overhauled their debt collection procedures. So you got 30 days post-settlement to get some approval. 60 days after the case is in the docket, 90 days you get a decision from the board, and then 120 days post-final court decisions. That's when you got to start making sure you get your money in. So they updated that too. There's a couple other things in the comparison, but the thing that just set off a lot of safety professionals and the way that they're spinning it is the serious and willful violations, the size reduction up from 10% to 20%. The spin is that the cost of a death or a serious injury has now gone down, meaning that the worker's life, the worker's ability to have a good life, because that's usually what happens, is some sort of debilitating injury or some sort of sickness that's going to reduce their quality of life, is worth less. So that's what they're trying to insinuate with this. And without being like gratuitous in any way, all I'm trying to say here is, come on, people, quit this. That is so ridiculous. Because if you're a consultant or you're the person who's working for a company you got fined, you're going to want to reduce that fine yourself, right? That's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to take the money that would have gone to an OSHA fine and move that into solutions. So if you got fined $10,000 and OSHA gave you an $8,000 discount, and now you pay OSHA $2,000, the other $8,000 should not go back into the company for no reason, just to keep it back in there. That should be reinvested into safety to make sure that whatever happened doesn't happen again. So therefore, we're doing what OSHA just did. So cut it out, you people. That's just ridiculous, you hypocrites. So, okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I don't need to do that. But, I don't know. Maybe if I start with all this, I'm going to end up having to, just go into the witness protection program and just truly be,
My name is Sheldon. Oh no, I'm in a witness protection program. I just messed up. Oh no.
Alright, so people might get mad at my statement there, but come on. It's not a moral judgment, the fines and everything else. So I say reducing of fines is not an absolution of sins. You should try to get the size reduction. If you qualify, you could go for some reduction related to actual, if you abate, meaning fix something while OSHA's there, you should get a reduction for that. So that's a good faith reduction. I believe in all of that. All of that is pertinent. All of that is something that should be done. So in this case, truly, 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 we are being hypocrites if you're trying to just, OSHA is calling this something to help small businesses, which it is. So if we're not for that, then, okay, I don't want to get too hyperbolic. I'm trying to, you guys can hear it, right? I'm restraining myself here. The goal is, we're not just going to waste money to waste money, right? This is resources. So you're not paying a penance when someone gets injured or you get cited. And the OSHA fine isn't just to, hit you over the stick to say bad compliance on this company's part. So therefore, you're a bad company, and we need to make sure that you now pay a price and you receive it as your penance. And you're like, oh, you're right. I am so sorry. It doesn't change bad actors. Bad actors will be bad actors. When's the last time you saw a roofing company that has fall protection? Think. Yeah, think. Right? Residential roofers. When's the last time you saw them with fall protection? They get cited millions as an industry. Therefore, they in turn should be reducing that behavior. It does not. So the fine does not equal reduction of at-risk behavior. However, the fines is meant to hold worker or companies accountable for the health of their workers. That's understandable. What you really need to do or think of it as is you're not paying this fine because you're going to get absolved from your sin. You're paying this fine because, yes, there is a regulatory burden that you have to truly go out there and you have to get that burden paid for. However, the reduction of fines isn't saying that you're less guilty, isn't saying that you're less culpable. All it's doing is giving you the ability to take one thing, which is dollars, and you're going to reinvest those dollars into your safety and health program. So, yes, you did something that was enough. You got yourself a citation. However, that doesn't mean that, you're truly a bad company. There's a lot of good companies that get cited. So, bad actors will be bad actors who can't fix that. Companies that are doing well, they could use this discount, if you would, again, to reinvest. Not all companies will. I understand that. I'm not naive. However, that should be the intent. So any less money going into the money that OSHA collects goes into the same funds that taxes and everything else goes to in the U.S. So the same money that's going all to that is the money that, instead of going into the tax burden or the tax coffer, should go back into the solutions. And that's what we're looking for. So just punishment to punish isn't the way to think of these fines. And OSHA doing the reduction to help big businesses, that's good. That's a good thing. And small businesses, I mean, not just big businesses, small businesses. That's a good thing. That's more working capital towards the solution. All right, so in my summation, if you would, I think it's just fine that OSHA is changing the stuff around. They're doing a few other things in here. Just looking at the significant change portion, which is still good. They're doing a lot of good stuff there. But that's it. I just wanted to at least let you guys know what I think. And I didn't want to be hyperbolic in any way. But I did want to make sure that I said my piece on this. I got to play around with my new board and mic. I'm going to adjust the mic a little. I sound a little far to me. You guys let me know. Just send me an email, sheldon@sheldonprimus.com. But other than that, what I meant to say and what I really mean about this organization, or I should say this change in the field operation manual, is it is really, really something I've been doing forever as a consultant. You guys are doing that. If you're working in the OSHA area or arena, you're trying to do that for yourself, for your clients. So don't be a hypocrite. That's the key. I'm not even going to name it that. I mean, the episode. So there you go. I honestly have nothing else. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I hope this is food for thought. If you want to go to that field operation manual, OSHA actually has a new field operation manual site. So you would have to go, I believe it's going to be under compliance documents. And it's going to be FOM 164. So let's see. Let me give you guys the full URL. And again, when I do these URLs, you guys know that if you are driving, you can't do this. You have to wait until you stop, and then you can do this. So you go to osha.gov/enforcement/directives/CPL-02-00 164. All right. So they've changed this document a few times, but this most recent update is, it's a big one. It is a big one. I myself is going to have to really go through it even more, but it's a big change. And I think most of it, you might have some people who are going to try to abuse this thing. However, overall, I believe it's the right thing to do. All right, so there you go. You got my 2 cents on it. Maybe a little bit more. But you guys got this. Go get them.
That's a wrap for today's safety show. Remember, safety isn't just about hard hats and caution signs. It's about business smarts too. Thanks for joining us on the Safety Consultant Show with Sheldon Primus. Until next time, stay safe, stay savvy, and keep consulting like a boss. Go get 'em. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast or broadcast are those of the host and its guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within the past hour, only examples. It should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the positions of the company. No part of this podcast or broadcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast or broadcast, Sheldon Primus.
This episode has been powered by Safety FM.